Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to season 3 of the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone Puzzle Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and pregnancy, an integrative, holistic nutritionist, doctor of natural medicine and training, creator of the Hormone Puzzle Method, an infertility warrior, 2-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really just any symptoms of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly as we interview amazing experts in the field of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're beginning your journey or you've been struggling for years, we're going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Not to mention, stay pregnant, have a healthy super baby, and easy postpartum. Are you ready? This season is packed with even more expert guests, sharing groundbreaking knowledge, giving you that jolt of energy that you so desperately need, sending you lots of virtual hugs, and inspiring you to take your fertility into your own hands and make that baby. Thank you all so much for tuning in and being amazing listeners. So now let's get started on your road to transformation. On today's show, we have Ariele Myers, a licensed acupuncturist and board-certified herbalist, a chemical healer and fertility specialist. She created Wisdom of the Womb and Fertile Mama Fertility Fix to expand her reach to help women everywhere experience the embodiment and empowerment that is their birthright. On today's show, we're talking all about conscious conception, what this is, and why it could be your missing piece to your fertility puzzle. Now, let's welcome Ariele to the show. Hey, Ariele, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kayla. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you again.
Me too. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah. So tell us a little more. Tell us about you and, what was your inspiration behind working in women's health and with fertility?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what we talked about on the summit, so I'm not too repetitive, but, I have been thinking about that, and I feel like I've had two distinct almost careers, very separate careers in fertility. I think I mentioned that a little bit, but, in the beginning I was just an acupuncturist, and I was a total body acupuncturist, and I worked a lot with muscular stuff and digestive stuff and anxiety, and really wasn't that interested, honestly, in women's reproductive health. I had my own reproductive health issues. When I was 16, 17, I was diagnosed with PCOS and had cramps. So I think it was always in there, the interest. I kind of got into acupuncture and recognized immediately for myself how it helped my periods and really balanced my hormones, but it wasn't a conscious, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But then when I was across the street from, across the river from Manhattan, and I had a lot of, women coming in then to my practice there, for fertility. So just kind of, I felt like it kind of found me more than I was seeking it. And at that time I was very into I studied functional medicine, and I was really looking at learning how to read all the tests and the charts and working with all the reproductive endocrinologists in New York and Manhattan, and felt like a very, very intellectual practice. And it kind of, it was I don't want to say I was good at it, but it kind of stroked my ego a little bit. I got a lot of women pregnant, and I could feel oh yeah. But then, personally, I really wasn't that fulfilled. I felt when I was about 35, I had 2 kids and had my practice, and it was successful, and was kind of what else, And so, made the decision with my husband to move out to Colorado, and was kind of done with fertility. And then just for my own sense of seeking this thing that I felt was really missing in my life, kind of dove into the realm of the divine feminine and the archetypes and the goddesses and mothering, and, really looking for what is this missing thing, kind of thinking that I was done with fertility. But then I couldn't help but see all of that stuff through my own lens of fertility. And as I was kind of learning all that stuff, I'd be like thinking about this patient and that patient. You know, there's always the patients that don't get pregnant, and always feeling like there was that something else I could have done. So I feel like now I'm really in that realm, like with all the, obviously the background of the functional medicine and that really helped the science aspect. But now I'm like really kind of devoted to like the magic of fertility, which is kind of where more my passion is now.
I love that. I love that. And I feel like I'm going in that direction too. I'm very like, I love the labs. I love the functional, you know, the nutrition piece, but I'm learning that there's more, because like you said, I'll have these clients and I'm like, everything is perfect on paper. Like, what am I missing? And it has to be that piece. It has to be the energetic and the chakras and all of that.
And it felt like a real body. Like for me, it was like a real body knowing, like, I can go deep, like there's something else here. And I don't think at the time that I trusted, like we kind of learned to like trust what's in our head and trust the science and trust and all of that stuff. It's important. And I kind of think like I wouldn't have been able to trust the other stuff if I didn't have that to kind of like validate myself or like use those big words that I'll be like, you know, I'll tell you about later. But like, it was like, okay, I have that. That's not doing it. So let me like lean into this other thing, which is really just like body felt awareness and like stuff that you can't put like a number on, or you can't kind of like quantify. It's like, what's this other thing that maybe we can explore together?
For sure.
That might seem totally unrelated to what's going on with your fertility.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I love that. So today we are going to talk about conscious conception, which is so cool. We haven't really talked about this on this show, so I'm really excited to dive into it. But tell us, what is conscious conception?
Like everything else.
Right?
Well, it is. It's like, you know, I could talk about it for like an hour. It's like, you know, just spiraling to all the things. But I feel like it's really like when I think of consciousness, I think of awareness. So just like really bringing awareness to all the other stuff and really recognizing that like the way we do fertility is the way we do everything. Like fertility is the way we do life. So I think that often when fertility is an issue, we'll start to go to the place that feels safe, like the experts, and we'll go to the tests and the labs, like we were talking about. And I feel like just bringing consciousness to, yes, the physical stuff, like knowing like, okay, where am I in my, like some women don't even know other than when they bleed, like what is actually happening. So it's like, where am I in my cycle? I know you talk a lot about the cycle phases, which I think is so important, but then really looking at like, you know, our dreams. I like to think of conscious coupling as a big part of conscious conception. And that really has to do not only with like coupling with our outer partner, you know, whoever we're making the baby with, but actually even like our own inner other. So for most women, it might be an inner masculine that we're relating to. You know, we have our feminine and masculine, or yin and yang within us, and how that relates to itself within us is often how we seek a partner in the outer world. So just really looking for that. I think of polarity, that yin and yang is like the spark that comes together. If you think of like two ends of a battery, it's like coming together and creating that spark of like, I think of it as life, like that thing that's not there without that electricity that's kind of created when you bring that spark together. So whether that's outside or inside ourselves, it's like finding that polarity and how that interacts and that interplay. And then really like just recognizing like that everything that happens, everything is an opportunity to like explore more. Like just really, I think often we like almost lose awareness of ourselves because we're like seeking an answer from somebody else. But it's just like really recognizing that like we have the answer, you know, whether it leads to pregnancy or not. It's like we have that I guess, yeah, consciousness is the best word to like really just see what this struggle with fertility is offering us as an opportunity to deepen and learn about ourselves.
For sure. I love that. And so how do we start to tap into this? How do we practice this?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, you know, there are the very real, like physical things we can do, to support fertility. But I think as far as like this other layer, the things that we tend to not think of as important or like as relevant are really the areas where they like shine. So like, you know, often, a dream state, like exploring our dreams, like bringing awareness to what our dreams are kind of offering us. It's like that the nighttime is the yin time. So often that like more magical realm is like where a lot of the answers will come up, like bubbling through your subconscious. They're often like your waking mind will like not pay attention to them. Like there's so many things throughout the day that like maybe pop up and we're like, no, I don't have time for that. Or we just don't even become conscious of it. So I always think like waking up first thing in the morning and writing down your dreams before you do anything. Like often I read a book that was like a dream book that was often like, we often can just like see the dream as if it's like a cat running away and all you can see is its tail. You like just get the end of it as you wake up, and it's almost like grabbing it and pulling it back in, because there's often so much there. And I really do feel like fertility is like such a spirally layered thing. And there's so much, like, I feel like there's so much transgenerational trauma and relational trauma and mother wounding. And it's like all of these things are places where we can really begin to explore it. But dream time is often like that kind of unconscious, like bubbling up from under the surface, where it's like, there's so much juiciness there.
I love that. And I love writing down my dreams. Oh my goodness. It's so much fun. If you can remember, sometimes I sleep so hard that I'll wake up and I'm like, I think I dreamed something. I can't grasp it though.
Yeah,
like you said, it's like that cat running away. I'm like, it's right there, but I can't get it.
Once in a while, I'm like, I like will myself to wake up and like write down one word that will just like be like, oh yeah. And then you can kind of get more of it.
Yep. I love that. I love that. And so, let's talk about the mind-body connection. How does this relate to that?
So this is one of those areas I love where, like, I always say, like, yes, I really value science, but I often feel like science has not even begun to catch up with like the magic that is our body. And so I love it when there's like something that like we know, or like the new agey folks or the spiritual folks are like, doing this thing, and science is like, that's foo-foo or woo-woo or whatever. Right. And then like the science will like catch up with it, and it's like, oh, they were onto something, like meditation, or we always knew that was good for like people that were doing it, knew it was good for them, but there wasn't always the science to back it. So what I love to talk about in fertility, when people are kind of like, and I know people get really mad if you're like, just relax, it'll happen. I would never say that to someone.
It's so much more than that though. I always tell people so much more than that.
Right. But like our outlook and our mindset and affirmations, like our hypothalamic pituitary axis, that's the big word I was going to talk about.
I love that word.
I know. So it's like literally your brain is like sensing everything. It's taking in signals and messaging and receiving. And then it's literally, if like we're in a positive state and we're like a yes to life, it'll send the yes pulse to our pituitary, which will then send the signal to our ovaries, which are like, okay. And and our hormones will balance, and we're like, okay, I'm ready. If we're going around and we're like, work sucks and this relationship sucks and I'm miserable and I'm unhappy, it's like our hypothalamus will literally be receiving no messages, and it will not turn on that signal to the pituitary, which will then open up to our ovaries, and which are responsible for hormones. And so we're literally able to like recognize, like, it's just a emotional response to our environment. It's like, how do I feel about this? So I do think it's really important throughout our day. And sometimes knowing that like gives us permission to like set boundaries from ourselves, when we could be like, this is actually doing something for my fertility, not just like, yeah, I'm miserable at work, but I'll suck it up. Or like, I don't really want to hang out with this person, but I'll do it. It's kind of like sometimes giving ourselves permission really to like honor that it's intuitive knowing, but it's also like a real physical response to our emotional state. So I think that mind-body connection is even more important than we recognize, but at least we recognize it now. It's not just like, well, that's nice that you do affirmations. It's like they're actually sending signals to your body.
Right, right. And I always tell people that, like, the physical body will take notice of what the mental body and spiritual body are telling it. And so, like you said, it'll tell it yes or no. Like, it will shut off. Why would it reproduce? It's not safe. It's not loved. It's in this like fight or flight kind of thing. So,
yeah. And it's also like, if you're not like, this was one of the biggest things when I was seeing patients was like, especially on the East Coast, women were working like 60 hours a week, and they're like, well, I'll slow down when I get pregnant, or I'll quit when I get pregnant, or I'll change things. It's like your body will know what's safe and what's a good environment to bring a baby into it. So if you're kind of like waiting to do life in a way that feels supportive and positive for you when you get pregnant, it's like your body is onto you. Your body's not gonna want to bring a baby into a world that you feel stressed in.
For sure. And I think that too is sometimes why we see, somebody struggling with fertility, but then they are like, okay, we're just going to take a couple breaks to go on vacation. They get a puppy and then they're pregnant. And they're like, wait, what happened? And it was because they kind of, connected to that mind body, and they just like relaxed for a minute. And it happened. So
I know. Totally. Yeah. I knew a family growing up that, they had daughters like a year apart from each other. And it was like they were trying, and then finally decided to adopt. And then like within 6 months of adopting, got pregnant naturally.
Yep. So many stories like that. I love it. Well, let's talk stress. How does stress play into all of this? And we talked about that a little bit before, but really diving into, how does this play a role?
Yeah. I mean, when we are stressed, so many things, but our cortisol levels will just spike. And cortisol is like the precursor to all of our other hormones. So when our cortisol levels are elevated when they're not supposed to be, it's kind of like all of our other hormones will kind of go out of whack. And all of our hormones are processed by the liver. And when our liver is like, in terms of Chinese medicine, which is my background, it's the liver is what's kind of controlling the smooth flow of energy through your body. So when I say that, I always think of like those people doing Tai Chi, the energy is kind of moving. And whenever we get stressed, you can feel it. Like if you can imagine what you feel like when you're like sitting in traffic, you're just like, like everything gets like tight. And so our liver's ability to process through actually gets like stagnant. So we call it like stagnant, like the chi, the energy that's moving through our body actually stagnates and gets stuck. And when the chi is stuck for a long time, the blood flows with the chi. So then the blood will get stuck. And that's when we can start to get like, more cramping. It's like our blood is actually getting stagnant because so much of our blood is settling in the womb. And then over time, like years and years, or even that transgenerational, that like, and then it like bursts out. That's when endometriosis can actually happen, is we have that like bursting out of its cells, like the blood bursting out. So that's obviously like on the far end of it, but just like basic stress, if like just our energy is not moving and not flowing as it should be smoothly, we'll just kind of, all of our functions will kind of slow down a little bit. Like all of our body's functions will kind of get a little bit sticky. So that's when we can get like a buildup of like fluids that could eventually over time lead to like a PCOS condition, or we might get sleep issues, or just like PMS, like the liver channel runs through our breast. So like you ever get like breast tenderness before your period or cramping, it's like just things are a little stuck. So just like moving through that is like huge.
For sure. And how do we get that energy to move? Is there like, practical things that we can do? Obviously acupuncture helps, but what else?
Yeah. I mean, I'm as an acupuncturist, acupuncture is just one of those magical things. Like that was my main thing when I was like, in my late teens and early 20s. I was like a ball of like stagnant liver, like having like outbursts and depression and studied, like went to a class for Chinese medicine because I was like just curious about it, and started learning about acupuncture and went to my first acupuncture session. And it was like, I could like feel, it was like a physical, like moving of like things that I wasn't capable of moving before. Like, I think I might've burst out sobbing on the table. It was just like, some of it is like, I think like physically moving it is so important. So body movement. I don't even like to use the word exercise because especially for women, so many of us have like forced ourselves to move, to like lose weight or look a different way. And so I really say like, move your body for you in a way that feels really nourishing and nurturing, a way that feels really good. So even if you like close the door and turn on music, like dance is like the number one way I like to just like move energy. Even if you start slowly and like languidly and sensually, it's just like feeling your body. Getting your hands on, so like womb massage, actually moving it. And I love that because you can feel with your fingers as well as feel internally. So it's like two kind of sense. So it's like that kind of extrasensory perception, you know, like you're feeling and feeling. I know that's not what extra, but I like to call it.
I understand.
Yeah. And yeah, like even just like brisk walks outside. Sleep is really important for just kind of resetting. Like that reset is often great. So those are like my top ones, like hands on belly, movement, and acupuncture, really just to get things moving. And massage, you know, like going for a massage. And yeah.
I love it. Love all of those. Amazing. Well, we're going to take a short break. We're going to hear a word from our sponsor. We're going to come back and talk practical tips. So we'll be right back. Hey y'all, it's Coach Kayla here. I hope you are loving this episode as much as I am. We will be back in just a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching. Whether you're struggling to get pregnant with pesky hormone symptoms, or you're working to build a career in the fertility and women's health space, we have you covered. Visit our website at www.coachkayla.com to learn more on how we can help you. Text the keyword fertility to 615-257-8855 for your free fertility meal plan. Hey, Ariel, welcome back.
Hi.
All right, let's talk practical tips. What are your top 5 things to start, and let's take it in the pro-conscious fertility space. What are some ways we can start to tap into that?
So as far as, really getting back to basics, and I think this is actually important for anybody, not just fertility. Like fertility is just an extension of overall health and longevity. So I already talked about a couple of them, but sleep is so important. And so many women that I talk to like tell me they're getting enough sleep, but then when we actually start talking about it, it's like,
right.
So really like allowing your body, even if you don't sleep for 8 hours, giving your body the opportunity to sleep for 8 hours, like leaving that amount of time. I personally sleep for longer than that, but like not bringing your phone into bed with you, not having your phone be the last thing you're looking at, like the technology piece of it is just, I think a big factor in it. Like I started to put my phone across the room, so I'm not even bringing it into bed with me, having a different alarm so it doesn't need to be next to my bed, but really giving yourself ample time for 8 hours of sleep. I just started reading a book called Why We Sleep, because sleep is I didn't even realize that sleep is one of those things that like is kind of been a mystery, like why we actually do it. So that's a really interesting book. But yeah, sleep, I find that it's just that opportunity to really reset our body. Sun is the other one that I'm kind of incorporating back in. For a long time, I was a total sun phobe. Like I'm vain and didn't want to get wrinkles, but that early morning sun, letting it into your eyes, like not staring at the sun, but like just letting it like go outside without sunglasses on. I just walk the dog in the morning and I don't put my sunglasses on even a half hour. It just, it's great for vitamin D. We need vitamin D, which is so important for fertility. And vitamin D is best absorbed through the skin. So, and the eyes. So, and also when you have sunlight going into your eyes, you're actually bringing melanin in, which becomes, it's like a precursor for melatonin, which is then contributing to serotonin. So it's just really good for overall well-being. So sun. We talked about body movement, which is so important. It's just moving through that liver energy that gets stagnant in all of us and doing it in a really like I like to just like start with slow music and really like feeling into your body, like doing it with your eyes closed and like bringing yourself into your belly and moving your belly and feeling in there. Like, I just feel like we can get so much information and so much, I think especially as women, we like hold our tummies in and our hips get tight and we hold actually so much tension and energy there that just like getting into there, not from like, what do I look like? I'm going to do some kickboxing, but like a sensual feeling space.
Mm-hmm.
It's really great. And then of course, food, what we put into our body, which I know is your like magic space, but, you know, also like I grew up with the diet industry like looming in every stand. And so, you know, I think our relationship with food has a lot to do with our relationship to our female bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And our relationship to ourselves as women. And I think often we haven't even like explored like what feels good for us, because like I grew up with dietary rules from the time I was like as old as I could remember, you know, that wasn't about like, what do I feel? What do I want? What am I craving? What do I desire? It's like, what will not make me fat and what, you know, so it's like really like, but, you know, I went through a phase, in the beginning of COVID where I was kind of like, I have all these restrictions and rules and they're all about health. You know, I could like back them all because I've like done nutritional studies and I've, you know, done eating for your body types and blood types, and was really like, I'm just going to eat whatever. And that too was like, after a few months of that, I was like, oh, I feel like shit.
Right.
It's like really like bringing ourselves back again and again. And maybe there are women out there who like have a really clear consciousness and relationship with food. But I think that's one of those things that like, there's so much else there besides just like, what are we putting in our body to feel good? It's like, there's so much else there around like, what does it mean to be walking around in this female body that so many of us have learned it's like not for our pleasure, it's to like be pleasing to. So it's like really what there's like, that's that consciousness piece is like, there's so much there. It's not just like, I'm going to eat what's right for, you know, fertility. It's like, well, what gives you pleasure in a way that like makes you feel good? You know, so many of us are like, I'm just going to eat whatever I want and eat things of ice cream that might be like instant pleasure, but that's not actually like filling your body with that sensual pleasure, because then you feel like garbage after. So that is one that I'm sure we could talk about for like hours on its own, but that's important.
Yes. Yeah. And it's so interesting that you say that, because, you know, I remember being conditioned myself from a young age. I mean, I can still hear my mother in my head, like, don't eat that. You're going to gain weight. Don't eat that. And I can remember her serving me like grilled chicken every night for dinner. And that voice is still in my head sometimes when I eat. And so it's just crazy.
You know, I like have such a vivid memory. I mean, so much of that. I think I went to Weight Watchers when I was like 12 and, you know, but I still remember being at the mall or something. I grew up in New Jersey, so that was what we did. We'd go to the mall.
Yeah.
Like, you know, seeing like a woman that I guess you would call like frumpy. And I remember my mom saying, don't ever let yourself go. And like, I got it, you know, like I got it. I know what she meant. And also so much about like surrendering to fertility is about like letting it all just fucking go, you know, like letting it all go and like seeing what's there when we're just like, you know, feeling from like moving from that place of like intuitive and internal knowing of like what is right for us, rather than like, I want to fit the mold of like the woman I'm supposed to be.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so interesting. I could talk about this all day, but we do have to wrap up. So
I know.
I would love to know where we can find you. How can we learn more?
So I am currently not seeing patients one-on-one. I one day soon, but maybe. COVID kind of changed all of that for me. So right now I'm only accessible online, wisdomofthewomb.online.com. And I have all of my teas and my soaks. We're actually in the middle of a rebrand. So it's going to be called the teachings and the education and the workshops will still be Wisdom of the Womb. And then the product line will be Moon Mother Botanicals. So you're the first to know. I'm saying it first here.
That's awesome. And tell us briefly exactly what you offer, because you have a lot of really cool products on your website.
Yeah. So it's interesting because when I had my wellness center, on the East Coast, I started to make like teas for everything, like for headaches and digestion and my, every sleep. And so since so many women were coming in for fertility, I started to make teas for fertility, especially since I was working with so many, of the IVF centers out there, and they were like, we don't know about herbs. They were like afraid of Chinese herbs.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, well, I'll make it into a tea, and then it's not so scary because it's not in a pill form,
right.
And the doctors would like see the tea and be like, oh, this is fine.
Right.
So I kind of, when we moved here, I kind of dropped all of the other things, but now I have different teas for different phases of your cycle and for different, for different diagnoses. So whether you have high FSH or just unexplained infertility or endometriosis or blocked tubes, I have different teas, and then also different bath soaks for each phase of your cycle. And I think we talked about that last time, that it's more for like the experience of like the getting into the water and that yin flow state. And then different womb massage oils, warming and cooling and healing. But the teas are like my baby. I felt like they were like my channeling from the earth to like my offering. So yeah, those are what I'm most proud of. And it was a little scary, honestly, when I started selling them online, because before that I had only been offering them to my patients who I was working with every week. And when I put them online, I was like, I don't actually know that without acupuncture and without my like hands-on work, are they gonna work? And I'm like blown away. I mean, it's like revalidated my like commitment to herbal medicine and botanical medicine. I'm like, wow, they've helped so many women. So.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
Like,
yeah, right. We'll see. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I recommend my clients always, with the teas and the massage oils, and so yeah.
I appreciate that. I mean, I still drink them. I'm not trying to get pregnant anymore, but like, I have a bag here of my fertile mama. I drink them every day. So
I love it. I love it. Well, as we close out, I would love to just hear, maybe a final thought, a word of encouragement, something you want to leave us with.
Yeah. That's a good one. I mean, I feel like, every woman I want to tell, like, you'll get pregnant, but I mean, the reality is some women will not. And I don't want to end on like a bummer, but it's like, I feel like that creative energy, that like life force, like we can be the creatrix of our own life, whether that means like making a baby or like finding another way to move that energy through us to like create something else, whether it's art or magic or business so I just feel like really tapping into that. And I do feel like the baby is the most common outcome of doing that work, that conscious conception work. But even for women that don't have the baby, I feel like doing this work and like unraveling all the layers that are there, like something will be born through you. So it just feels like clearing up that space. Like we all have that magic energy flowing through us. And it's just like finding what will help us tap into it.
I love that. Amazing. Well, thank you again, Ariele. Thank you. It's so fun to talk to you.
So good to be on. So good to talk to you. We should do it again and again. For sure. Just so we can talk.
All right.
Good luck to you with your calf and everything. I hope you feel well soon.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, ladies, for listening to the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. Until next time. Bye. Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at CoachKayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. Make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at CoachKayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.